guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about PLL season 6 episode 9. I said episode 9 last week, but it's definitely episode 9 this week. So a lot happened in this episode, but of course you did not get to see Charles, who Charles is, and I'm going to do a separate video on who I think Charles is. So definitely check out for that. It might actually be uploaded before this one, but we'll see. So yeah. What happened in this episode? Oh, also, you can see the first 2 minutes of episode 10, which is next week, next Tuesday's episode. I'm gonna leave the link down below for that, so definitely check that out. But yeah, what happened? A lot of things happened. Let's start with the fact that the girls were not allowed to go to prom because it was too dangerous for them, which is obviously true, but whatever. They were all mad about it, but the idea of their parents was to give them a prom in Spencer's barn, like Spencer's parents' barn, which is really weird. Ooh, I just pulled my earring out. Hold on. Okay, my earring is back in. But, yeah, so Spencer's barn. I also noticed that none of the fathers were there. Kenneth wasn't even there this episode. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So they're gonna have prom, in the barn. Now, who is it? Caleb was acting really weird this episode. Well, what happened? Emily ended up asking Sarah to go with her to prom, like, towards the beginning of this episode, and she was like, oh, I'm actually going to my old school's prom, and it's the same night as your prom. One, how did you know what night her prom was when, one, you don't go to her school, two, you guys haven't talked about prom, clearly, and it's just a little weird that she knew that. He's like, oh, mine's the same night as my old school's prom, the same night as your prom. Like, she kind of deaded it like that. And it was like, okay, how did you even know that? Because Emily didn't mention the day or anything, but maybe she just knew, maybe not. They never, it seems like they didn't talk about it, though, because she didn't say anything like, oh, I'm going to prom with my old friends or something like that. She never said that. But whatever. That's the first little fishy thing about Sarah. Then, Caleb was acting really weird. He was like, oh, I'm going to New York with my father. Oh, he's trying to become a techie guy. That's why he had the, laptop in his trunk. The bookball actually asked this question in her live reaction of this episode. She was like, isn't that Mona's laptop, the one that was stolen by A? If it is, what's going on, Caleb? My friend actually texted me because I didn't get to watch the episode live. I usually don't. But she texted me. She was like, oh my gosh, Caleb is A. And I'm like, what? But at the same time, I kind of suspected him a little bit. But I don't really know what his reasoning would be. He looks nothing like what Charles is supposed to look like. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't think he's A, but I think there's something fishy going on still, because even so, after he tells her, oh, it's because it was an interview, why couldn't you just tell her that you had an interview in New York? Why'd you have to act so fishy and lie about it in that way? That was really weird. And also, both Sarah and Caleb showed up to the prom, but didn't show up to the barn. I don't know what's going on there, but I don't know, guys. These are just things that I've been noticing. So what else happened? Ezra ends up wanting to go to the prom with Arya, and my whole thing about Ezra is all of a sudden now he's actually going to go to Thailand. He went from saying, and I commented on the Bookball's video with this, he went from saying that, oh, he couldn't leave Rosewood because this is all he had. Remember that, guys? When Arya found out that he was A, and she was like, I want you to leave. And he's like, I can't leave. This is all that I have nowhere to go. But all of a sudden now you could pick up and move to Thailand. All of a sudden you could have quit teaching and opened up the brew, like bought over the brew and all that, but you had nowhere to go? What are you talking about? He is a liar, and I don't understand why Ezra is kind of being painted as this good guy. And he really, he preyed on, someone commented on my comment and was like, that's right, he preyed on Arya knowing she was 15 or 16 years old to get into a relationship with her. He knew that. He already knew her age and stuff beforehand. Yet there was no consequences for that whatsoever. I don't care that he's no longer a teacher. He's still able to own a restaurant or whatever the brew is, a cafe type thing, and just hang out with all his former students that are her friends, and it's okay. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. Like, I can't let that one go. I just can't. And I find it funny that all of a sudden when Arya finally gets an internship in LA, now you want to move to Thailand, but before you couldn't leave Rosewood. What is his deal? I don't know. Next, Clark. We find out, well, I'm skipping ahead, but we found out that Clark is a cop. Like I said in my last reaction, which will be linked, I'll probably link my playlist as a card. He was definitely a red herring. Like, I knew that he didn't have anything to do with the big picture because he kind of came out of nowhere, and 9 times out of 10, the red herrings are people who come out of nowhere and are just causing a distraction. For example, Sydney, Leslie, Clark, who else? There are other people, but you get the idea. So, yeah, so Clark is a red herring. But back to the storyline. So they're going to have prom in the barn. Allison's supposed to be there. The moms are going to be supervising, but from the house. And a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I love the moms, and they should have their spin-off show. It would be cute if they had their spin-off show, but like, what would be the basis? My whole thing about the moms, where I wasn't super like in love with their segments, one, your daughters were abducted and tortured, right? You're supposed to be watching from the house to make sure that Charles doesn't come to try to kill them or something. You guys are gonna go get drunk. Like, okay, yes, this is all stressful, taking a load off, I get it, but if you're supposed to be on the alert, I don't think drinking a bunch of wine is the best idea. Maybe I'm being a little harsh, but I'm just like, this doesn't really make sense. Two, so they act more irrational, and they go to Kenneth's house and all that, and they find themselves looking at Reese, right? They're like, oh my gosh, I think we just saw Charles. If you just saw the guy who kidnapped and tortured your daughter, you're just gonna be like, that might be him. Or would you try to do something about it? Especially when Veronica was all like, you know, try me, and she was very sharp at the mouth. I loved how she acted or whatever when she was drunk, but at the same time, I feel like the seriousness of the situation wasn't really portrayed, and it feels like they don't really take seriously that their daughters were abducted, because if that was Charles, you're just gonna look at him like, I think that was Charles. Like, is it just the drunk reaction, the delayed reaction? Or to me, like, I feel like you would be a little bit angry because Veronica was already displaying her anger towards Mrs. D. Like, you know, she tried to steal my husband and this and that and that and that. And then Mrs. Fields was all, what if Kenneth helped her? What if Kenneth buried her in the backyard and it wasn't Charles? Which are things to think, but then when you're faced with who you think is Charles, you're not really reacting. I thought that was weird. But their session was cute and all, but I feel like just that part of it, if you really thought that was Charles, why didn't you do something more? Like, run back to your house and call the cops, not try to find Kenneth in the house. You know what I'm saying? And where was Kenneth? Because if his scotch was out and all that, what happened to him? Did he die? Like, what happened? I don't know. Anyway, back to reverse before the barn. I forgot to say this, that Spencer was all trying to get Lorenzo to come to the prom, their little prom, because Allie needs you, and da-da-da-da. Now, people are rumoring, this is a spoiler, people are rumoring that Lorenzo is the one who's gonna die. If it is, I don't really care. Honestly, I feel like his character was cool and all, but doesn't really matter to me. If it was somebody like Charles who died, that matters, just because we wouldn't get the answers that we need. If it was Allie or any of the girls who died, that would be crazy, you know. But if Lorenzo dies, it's like, why? Just to kill somebody off? You killed him? Like, I don't get it. But yeah, so Spencer tried to get Lorenzo to come to the prom. He still doesn't trust Allie. He feels used, even though everyone already told you about her, but you still feel used. That's fine, whatever. And Toby still didn't trust her, so it's like your own partner was like, don't mess with her, and you still wanted to go after her, and then you get screwed over, and it's like, told you so, pretty much. That's all that Toby could say to him, but whatever. So yeah, he still didn't want to go to the prom. So fast forward, they go to the barn, they're all dressed up, they're looking at prom pictures. Allie is late. Allie fakes, says hi to the moms, and then runs off to go find Charles, because Charles texted her. Forgot to say this too, when they were in the brew, all the girls were in the brew talking about prom, Charles texted her saying, come to prom, and she was like, oh, I can't come to prom. She called the number called her, and she's like, I can't go to prom. Charles, is that you? Charles? I don't know why, but I wasn't feeling Allie's like facial expressions this episode. It was bothering me. She had the same look the whole time. I can't even do it. Wait. Like the whole time she was like, everywhere she walked in that prom, that was her face. And I'm just like, can you change up your facial expression, please? But I don't know. Again, I was watching it at a weird time. I was very like irritable at the time, so whatever. So yeah, Allie goes to the prom. The girls and Ezra and Toby are in the barn. Sarah is not there. Lorenzo is not there. Caleb is not there. So they're scrolling through pictures on Instagram, I guess, or whatever the app is, and they're seeing that, you know, the people, what everyone's wearing. They see that Lucas is there. They see, who else? They said Jenna. They think Lucas and Jenna went together, but then no, they were just next to each other or something like that. And we haven't seen Lucas or Jenna in a really long time, so it's funny that they decided to mention them, but whatever. Noel Khan went with somebody and blah, 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 blah. Then they see Allie in someone's picture, and they're like, oh, Allie went to prom. Why'd she go there? Charles lured her there? Blah, blah, blah. So then they go and run to go to prom, even though they're not supposed to be there, to save Allie, as if Allie asked them, as if Allie said, guys, come, or anything like that. She definitely didn't, but whatever. So what happens? They're there. You see Clark acting all suspicious. He's the photographer at prom. And Ari's like, what are you doing here? And it's like, what are you doing here? I was hired. Now it kind of makes sense why he didn't have like an answer for why his parents were at the gallery thing, because he's a grown man. But now it all makes sense. But I also find it weird that people in Hollis and people in Rosewood High can enter the same programs and stuff like that. Like, one's a child, or maybe she's 18 by now, and one's a college student. You know what I'm saying? A little weird. And it still doesn't explain why he went to that building with Reese, even if he is a cop. And why couldn't Tanner just let them know that he's a cop so that they don't have to feel some type of way or scared or anything like that? It was just really weird how they kind of placed him there. He's undercover, but we didn't really... It was just a red herring thing, I guess, on the writer's part, but it was just weird that you put an undercover cop there to then look super suspicious. And the questions he asked didn't sound like he was a cop. He was like, so did the police do this? Did the police do that? But shouldn't you know that if you're a cop? Why would you even ask that? But then when he asked, why did you girls go there in the first place, to the arcade? Do you think you were going to catch Charles? This is in past episodes. And she was like, it was a dumb idea or whatever. I guess he was asking that because he wanted to find out how the girls talked to Charles. So that made sense, I guess, a little bit. Anyway, so yeah, he was acting sketchy at the prom. Allison is just looking for Charles. She's reading her text that Charles sent her, looking for Charles, looking for Charles. The girls and Toby and Ezra get there, and what happens? They walk in. Sarah pops up to Emily like, hey, I passed by the barn. Okay, here's how you know she was lying. They had literally just got into the prom, but you passed by the barn and found out she wasn't there? No. You're a liar, because how did you teleport from the barn to prom? You did not. Stop lying. You were just at prom. And if you were, why didn't you just text her like, okay, I'm coming to the barn or something? And then she says, oh, I passed by the barn, you weren't there, so I figured you'd be here. What if they went out for ice cream? What if they, I don't know, something else? You know what I'm saying? Like, Sarah's a liar. I don't know what it is, but she's a liar. And later in that episode, she's like dancing with Emily, and she's like, oh, I just wanted to let you know, whatever happens, you're very special to me. Whatever happens. When someone says whatever happens, that means, you know, in movies, when you see that stuff, you're like, they're in danger or something. They're like, whatever happens, we'll get through this. I love you, blah, 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 whatever. So, something bad is going to happen is what you're telling me? Okay, Sarah, thanks for letting me know. No. Emily's all like, huh? Like, no, Emily, just stop. Just stop being so stupid. But anyway, yeah, also, Caleb shows up as well. And he's like, she said, oh, I thought you were in New York. He said, I did go to New York. He said, but dance with me first. And both Sarah and Caleb told, you know, Emily and Hannah, oh, dance with me first or whatever, before they explained what was going on, or dance with me, just do one dance, something like that. So it's just a little weird. I don't know if that's just the writer's habit or if that was purposeful and like Caleb is actually fishy. I don't know. I don't want that to happen, but it seems a little fishy this episode. Because even so, he got the job and it's like, oh, he's like, we're going to have enough money For you to go to school, like, okay, that's 30 grand. To live in New York, I live in New York, it is expensive out here, okay? And, yeah, to basically live on their own, and for her to go to school and everything like that. Like, you're making enough money for all that? Wow, that's amazing, Caleb. I know you have talent, but wow. And it's like, it would be different if he went to Virginia or something, to Quantico, to be an FBI or something like that. But he went to New York. What to New York? Ezra's business was in New York. Like, I can't think of what else would be in New York, you know? Anyway, so they continue looking. They see, Spencer talks to, Allison's like, don't go after him, don't go after Charles, and she's like, you never liked me anyway, or something like that, please let me go, I want to know him, or I want to meet him, or I want to know why he's doing this, something to that effect. And then Spencer's all hurt, like, why did she say that? Why did she say that I never liked her? Because you probably didn't ever like her. I mean, sometimes, you know, people do things for people out of pity, or, you know, out of feeling like this is gonna make me get on their good side or something, but they might not actually like the person, and maybe that's what Allie means. I'm not sure. But anyway, so yeah, she was telling Toby, like, why did she say that? Blah, 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 blah. Long story short, she's being followed by a red coat and, like, some type of weird mask the whole time. We didn't physically see Mona, but she was supposed to be Red Riding Hood. So what is Mona up to? Who knows? What else happened? So, basically, what's his name? Clark sees Allie run somewhere, and he's about to follow her. He's about to pull out his gun. They all see him. They hold him. They're like, what are you doing, Clark? Instead of going after Allie, you're following Clark. Like, why? Why? Just to waste time, of course. So they see the gun. They're like, what are you doing? Toby's like, he's an officer, but I think Toby was suspended now. Anyway, yeah, Toby was suspended, Lorenzo was suspended, I believe, something like that. So, it's like, what are you doing, Toby? But anyway, so they find out that Clark is a cop. So they wasted his time, so he couldn't follow Allie. Now Allie's by herself. She thought she saw Charles, and something fell, a light fixture? I wasn't really sure what happened there. And then, afterwards, she keeps walking, and she sees Charles, and she's like, what does she say? I think she says, oh my gosh, or something like that. So, that's how the episode ends. So, we don't know who Charles is yet. But, in the first 2 minutes of the next episode, episode 10, a lot happens. And I'm going to talk about that in my theory video of who I think Charles is, because it's a spoiler for those of you who did not watch the the first 2 minutes of the next episode. I will leave the link down below again for you guys so you can check that out. So yeah, what did I think of this episode? I think Sarah is a liar. I think she's untrustworthy, and I've said this a million times, but yes, I still feel that way. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about the moms. So Veronica basically spills the beans that Jason is not even Kenneth's son. The other moms didn't even know that, and then they saw Reese, and they're like, oh, that looks like Charles. And then they found out that he was from the Carrie group, and then Ashley put two and two together, like, Hannah thinks the Carrie group has something to do with Charles. And yeah, so they figured that out, but not really. Then they get locked in the basement, because that's what the girls always did, get locked somewhere. You all go down, the door closes behind you because someone's actually still there, and they're locked downstairs. So we don't even know what's going to happen to them. None of them have their cell phones. They were all drunk. They're going to sober up pretty quickly now, I bet, though. And yeah, nothing ended with them still down there. So yeah, we don't know where Kenneth was this episode. There was scotch on the table, but he did not answer the mom's call at all. So we don't know if he was killed. We don't know if he was captured. We don't know if he was upstairs. They didn't go upstairs. Reese just comes in the house though and is like, I'm looking for Mr. De Laurentiis. He's like of all times, for him to be trying to talk to him, he was there then, and he's like, oh, because Jessica De Laurentiis used to help the group get money. But here's the thing. She's been dead for so long, so for you to want to come talk to him right now is awfully weird. I'm just saying. I don't really know what Reese's deal is, but I guess we'll find out. Hopefully we find out next episode. Also, it seems like, you know, this episode is kind of setting up what all the girls will be doing after all this is over, or when the time jump happens. Here's the thing. So it's presumably Hannah and Caleb will be in New York. Aria will be in LA. Ezra will be in Thailand. Where's Emily and Spencer gonna be? Spencer will be in college. Emily, I'm not really sure what she's gonna be doing because she's not going to Thailand. So yeah, I don't know. And then my thing is, again, watch that 2-minute premiere. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So, but I guess I'll just talk about that in my theory video. So watch that and then come watch the theory video, and we'll talk more about what I think is going to happen in the finale and what's going to happen in 6B and season 7, because we have all, that's at least, well, since they made this 10 episodes, the first half, maybe it'll just be 30 episodes, but that's a lot of episodes. So I wonder what's going to happen here. So yeah, take a look at that video. The link will be down below, and then we'll talk. Thanks you guys for watching. Like this video, subscribe, comment, and stay tuned for my next video. Bye guys.